Ambassador Exeline trembled as she sent the final emergency broadcast. The Void Swarm had surrounded Haraxis Prime, their massive organic hive ships blotting out the stars. 3 billion Haraxians cowered in underground shelters as the enemy methodically destroyed orbital defenses. This is Ambassador Exeline of the Haraxian Confederation. We are under attack by the Void Swarm. Our defenses are failing. To any Allied forces who can hear this message, please, we beg for assistance. She knew it was futile. The Galactic Coalition had already denied their pleas for help. Regrettably, military intervention against the Void Swarm exceeds acceptable casualty parameters. The Coalition's secretary had explained with clinical detachment. Even the warlike Kreth Empire had declined, calling it an unfortunate but strategically sound sacrifice. No one would challenge the Void Swarm for a minor species like the Haraxians. The ambassador closed her eyes, waiting for the inevitable. Then her communications officer gasped. "Ambassador, I'm detecting warp signatures, hundreds of them." The tactical display lit up as ships tore into real space directly between Haraxis Prime and the Void Swarm fleet. But these weren't Coalition ships with their elegant curves, nor the spiked battlecruisers of the Kreth. These vessels were blocky, utilitarian, bristling with weapons that looked cobbled together, yet somehow more menacing for their practicality. "Identifying signatures," the officer whispered. "There, human." The humans, the newest and most controversial members of the galactic community. While technologically less advanced than most spacefaring species, they had earned a reputation for bewildering tactics and disturbing tenacity. Most civilized species gave their territory wide berth. A transmission cut through the chaos. A human female appeared on screen, her face decorated with colorful markings that Zaleen recognized as war paint, a primitive but psychologically effective intimidation technique. "This is Admiral Maya Santiago of the United Earth Fleet. We received your distress call and have come to assist. Please transmit orbital defense codes and evacuation protocols immediately." Zaleen stammered, but the Coalition said the Void Swarm couldn't be engaged without catastrophic losses. The human's lips curved upward in what Zaleen recognized as a smile, though on a predator species like humans. The expression retained a certain terrifying quality. "With respect, Ambassador, we've run our own calculations." The tactical display showed the human ships deploying in a formation that seemed haphazard to Exelian's trained eye. Yet as the Void Swarm attacked, the pattern's brilliance became apparent. The humans had created a three-dimensional killing field, drawing the organic ships into overlapping fields of fire. Unlike Coalition forces with their surgical precision, the humans fought with controlled chaos. When their ships took damage, they didn't retreat for repairs. They drove deeper into the enemy formation, weapons blazing until their final moment. Some human vessels deliberately collided with Void Swarm hive ships, their reactors detonating in spectacular sacrificial explosions. "They're insane," whispered the tactical officer. "Their casualty rates are beyond acceptable parameters for any known species." Yet the strategy worked. The Void Swarm, used to enemies that valued self-preservation, seemed confused by the humans' apparent disregard for their own safety. Their hive mind tactics faltered against an enemy that embraced unpredictability. 3 hours later, it was over. The Void Swarm had retreated, leaving behind floating biomass where their ships had been. 17 human vessels had been destroyed, with another 32 severely damaged. When Admiral Santiago arrived at the Haraxian Command Center, her uniform was torn and blood-stained. One arm hung in a makeshift sling. "Why?" Zaleen asked. "Why would you risk so much for us when no one else would?" Santiago's expression softened. 6 years ago, when humans first achieved faster-than-light travel, one of our colony ships malfunctioned. Your people found it drifting near your outer planets. You could have ignored it, but instead, You rescued 87 human colonists. The Admiral placed her good hand on Exeline's shoulder, a shocking breach of protocol that the ambassador found herself not minding. Humans have a saying, "Ambassador, no one left behind." You helped us when we needed it. We remember our friends. That night, as Haraxian medical teams treated wounded human soldiers, Xaline composed a message to the Galactic Coalition. It read simply, "The species you fear most came when you would not. Perhaps you should reconsider which among us are truly civilized."